Hey, this is Jamey with Stillmeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game called Llamaland by Phil Walker Harding. Thanks to my friend Paul for sharing this game with me. I don't own the game, but I do have some photos from the session that we played. It's one of Phil Walker Harding's kind of classic games where you are placing tiles on other tiles to create elevation in those tiles, and you're placing llamas on those tiles at certain times, which has a really nice aesthetic to it. There are a couple things I want to talk about in this game. The main thing that I really like is the decision to either build up or build out, and both are very compelling decisions. If you build up, what you're doing is placing a polyomino tile on top of other tiles, and for every little icon that you cover up when you do so, you gain the resource associated with that icon. It's either a resource, sometimes you gain some role cards, you can see them right here, they give you ongoing engine building style powers, and sometimes you gain silver, which is the other thing that you can gain. So you can gain things as you cover them up, which feels really good. You're gaining things, you're covering tiles up, you're creating elevation, which often helps you for other reasons that I'll mention in a second. And I really do like one little twist to that. Each player gets these, I believe it was 3 just basic square tiles. And so if your elevation doesn't quite work out where you would have an overhang, you can slide in one of those tiles to prevent that overhang and maximize your tile placement. So you can build up or you can build out. And that's where you take one of these tiles and you place it out on the table. You just place it on the table. So you, instead of having a small square, which you start off with when you're beginning the game, you can expand that square and expand your playing area and expand the number of things that you can build on top of. You can kind of see that over here. This is a tile that's just on the table that I can build next to or build on top of. And whenever you build out instead of up, because you're not covering anything up, you still need to gain a bonus. The bonus that you gain is up here. These are random scoring tiles that you'll score at the end of the game, and you'll put one of your little, so when you build out, your bonus is that you get to place a player token on one of these cards that doesn't already have one of your tokens. And generally you want to be the first player to get there because you can place the token at the, like on the top row here, which says, if you accomplish this goal, you gain 15 points at the end of the game. If you're the second player to place the token there, if you accomplish this goal at the end of the game, you'll gain 12 points and then 9 points. So if you build out, not only are you building more opportunities to place tiles on top of later, so it's a future benefit for the game, you are also giving yourself potential future points at the end of the game. So it's a big way that you can score points at the end of the game. So it is important to build out at times so that you can get your tokens out here on scoring cards. So build up, build out, great decision point there. The one other little thing I wanted to mention in this game that ties into publishing a little bit, this is a decision, I can tell that Phil Walker Harding is now both a publisher and a designer because he included something really clever here. And it's related to how you actually get these llamas on the tiles. Basically, there are 3 different types of llamas. The tokens are all the same, but there are 3 stacks of llama cards. And whenever you, and one of them is associated with corn, one with cocoa, and the other with, what was the other one? Some other material that you're collecting. I'm forgetting the last one. It's not corn or cocoa, it's something else. But whenever you have at least 4 of those tokens, of the same token. So if I have 4 cocoa tokens at the end of my game, at the end of my turn, I must turn them in and gain a cocoa llama card, which is worth a bunch of points at the end of the game. And I also gain a llama that I must put on my mat, and that llama just blocks one of the plain hexes, or plain squares, or any square, I believe, for the rest of the game. You can't place anything on top of it. So, but it creates this nice aesthetic. So it's kind of limiting your options for the rest of the game. But right away, I'm gaining a card that represents points at the end of the game. And the reason this is a nice publisher twist here is that it prevents players from stockpiling resources. And if you ever have a way that players can stockpile resources in your game, it means that you have to include more resource tokens in the game, which can increase the cost of the game. And so this is a really clever way that the game prevents players from stockpiling and increasing the cost of actually producing the game, because they say whenever you have 4 of a token, you have to turn it in. You must turn it in. And here's a reward for doing so. Here's some points that you get for doing so. And here's a fun llama token that you get for doing so. So I think that was a great reminder to me as a publisher that that it can be important to limit the number of resources that any player can have at any given time. But if you're going to do so, do it for a fun reason. Don't give them a completely artificial constraint that doesn't feel good. Give them a fun reason to get up to 4 resources. It feels like they've completed a little goal by doing so. They're getting a llama that's worth a lot of points. This is like the main reason that you get resources in this game. You're not using them to buy anything else. Yeah, so I thought those are 2 good mechanisms to talk about. Those are my favorite mechanisms in Llamaland. If you have a favorite mechanism in Llamaland or any other similar game, I think that Phil Walker Harding has designed like this. Gingerbread House is the other one that I've played. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.